Okay, I don't know how many attempts this is now, but okay, I'm gonna try and make this as short as I can because it took me so long to get this video out. Too many live things going on, so I'm gonna get into it. Sorry, just got a little sore throat. But anyway, I think with every good series, let me say that, every good series, you need to sort of get a reacquainted episode, and I think this one was mostly that. I mean, you get to be acquainted with most of the major characters in the first episode, but in this one you get that plus the added dynamic of finding new characters and learning about them and their relationship with everybody else. And if you're like me, sort of like theorizing how all of these pieces are going to work together and how this game is going to move along, but because we had waited so long, a full year, for this series, the second series to come out, this episode is really, really good for that. Settings. I have to talk about settings. Dragonstone, fantastic. Beautiful and dark and brooding, sort of like Stannis, and all the dragons on the wall. Awesome. They actually, well, at least to me, they kind of looked, like real dragons, just sort of stuck in time in the stone. And then Pike. When I was reading the books, I always had a hard time picturing it. I never really got a full picture of what Pike looked like in the Iron Isles, and was it ever breathtaking what they did with it. I mean, it did look like this castle was just coming out of this stone, and the hanging bridges that went between them, fantastic. Okay, so Yoren, we get to meet and get to know Yoren a little bit more. End of last season, where he is rescuing basically Arya after they kill her father by taking her to the wall. Brilliant casting, by the way. I thought he was fantastic. It was so good, and sort of that brash, sort of badass attitude that he just exudes was perfect. We get to meet Gendry a little bit more and his relationship to Arya, and I was quite sure, I mean, I may be mistaken because it's been so long since I've read Clash of Kings, but I thought that Gendry didn't get to know that Arya was a Stark until after Harrenhal. Could be wrong, but I mean, and if that's the case, then probably they're going to be cutting out some of the traveling that they end up doing later on, which is fine. I mean, some of the cutting and splicing that they've done with the story so far has worked perfectly, so I'm not scared about that. It's just, something I noticed and kind of bugged me. Maybe somebody out there can tell me if they got it right, or if that comes a little bit later on. I actually can't remember. But anyway, it was cute, and you sort of get to see their camaraderie and how they work together. It's kind of cute that, he says, I've been pissing in front of you and everything. You're a lady, and she pushes him down. It's cute. Anyway. Sam and Gilly, we get to see their relationship too. It's nice to get reacquainted with Sam again and see how sweet he is and how big-hearted and how painfully virginal. And Gilly, she was a great choice too, great cast. She looks the way that I had imagined her. And then, of course, the beginning of their relationship is going to be quite important later on. Daenerys, we get to see her and her heartbreak over the blood of her blood that comes back decapitated. But now it gives her a little bit of a catalyst, I think, because now it's going to become not just about survival for her. There's a little bit of a change, and it's going to be more about justice, or maybe a little bit of revenge. And I always love those characters in books or movies, shows, whatever. I love a character that needs to get back at somebody for something. They're so fun to watch. Um, so yeah, like I said, you get reacquainted with some of the characters. It was fun to see Littlefinger and that whole conversation that he has with the woman in his brothel, that she's crying. And what I love about him is that there's an air of him actually caring about you, but he threatens you so elegantly. It's actually more scary to me than if it were blatant threat. Yeah, it was, yeah, gave me shivers. Anywho, so good. So see him, Tyrion. Tyrion, love him. So now he's got to assert himself, and he's starting to clean house, because he knows he can't trust anybody in the small council. Threats are made to him and from him, and we get to see the relationship between him and Cersei. The whole talk about him being the biggest joke, and her resentment about him being born, and she knows that she can hurt him with that again. It's kind of nice. It's not nice. I'm not going to say it's nice to see that, but it gives a dimension to all of their relationships, and I love that. I love that they're not just cut and dry, yeah, I hate you, but you get to learn why there's this animosity, and yet there's still loyalty there. I mean, even after all the taunts and japes and the cruelty, I mean, really, Tyrion still has this deep, ingrained feeling of loyalty towards his family. All of his family, not just some. And, yeah, you get to get a little bit of a glimpse with that. Bronn, we get to see Bronn the sellsword, and I love that character because, at least in King's Landing, he is the epitome, like the quintessential, or honesty incarnate, let's say it that way, which is bloody scary, and not a pleasant thought, that the most honest man in that part of the kingdom is this sellsword. One who would do just about anything if the price was right. But he's not lying, there's no subterfuge. You know exactly what you're going to get with this man. Crazy. I love that character. Oh, yeah. Theon. Ah, the little shit. So yeah, he gets his ass handed to him after he gropes his sister. So funny. But anyway, yeah. Dad thinks he's a pussy again. More daddy issues and relationships and dysfunctional families, just full of dysfunctional families. I love it. And it just feels like great gossip, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Except with, like, swords and magic and dragons and shit. Great. Yeah, so we see him. And, the girl they picked for Yara, not thrilled. And she kind of chews the scenery a little bit. Yeah. And, like, I thought she'd be way hotter, because when Martin describes her in the books, she just sounded like this raven-haired beauty. I thought she had black hair. Anyway. Yeah. In any case, she was this, like, beautiful woman. But is strong and independent and all those wonderful things. But she just kind of seems, I don't know, petulant. Maybe she'll get better, but doubt it. Yeah, I wasn't really happy with her. Did love Yeah, I was gonna say that I really love the Kraken on the hearth. It's cool, but I like stuff like that. So then we get to see Davos, and we get to see... Actually, he did better this episode than he did last one for me. He seemed more of the wizened, sailor, smuggler that he was. Especially when he talks to Salador San, and I love that his son just doesn't really see the finesse that his father has in winning this notorious smuggler over to his king, and obviously his 30 ships that are quite crucial to have. And the way he does it it's just, it's so great, because all he does, he doesn't need to try to convince him. He just says, look, he lays his cards out on the table. This is what I believe it wholeheartedly. We're going to win, you're going to be rich. Simple. And Salador likes the sound of that. And, great choice for him. He kind of took me a little bit by surprise. I pictured him so differently, but I was pleasantly surprised. It was really, really good. So we'll see what fun he'll bring. And speaking of Davos' son, he gets that very weird, sort of cryptic message from Melisandre when we go back to Dragonstone, where she tells him that the death by fire is the truest death, something like that. So we'll have to see. And then, we kind of get to see how close she and Stannis are. Let's get it on. Yeah. Game of Thrones style. Sorry. Okay, yeah. And then, of course, we end the episode with what I love. When movies or shows or books do this, it's a direct tie-in to where we began everything, so you don't forget where we started from. And it was with Craster when he takes the baby out into the wilderness, and Jon follows him, and Jon gets a glimpse of the thing or things that are beyond the wall. And obviously we're made to assume that this baby is a boy because he doesn't have any girls. I mean boys, he only has the girls. So we get a direct tie-in to where it all started from, which is this weird, sort of creepy phenomenon, I guess is a better word, that it makes it so much more worthwhile for me to watch when little details get called back because there's something important that needs to be seen here, and it's not beating you over the head with it, it's just, it's there for you to notice, and I love noticing. So I love it when people do that. So, great episode, first and second. We've gotten caught up with just about everybody. Got some new characters in there. Yay! And now, fun's gonna begin. So I'm gonna do my video for episode 3 very soon, hopefully. And that way I can be caught up for episode 4, because I think it's gonna be kick-ass. So yeah, I will see you then. Alright. Night-night.